Hello and welcome back to Green Money Momentum, where we talk about market movements, making money, and money momentum. I am your host, Trevor, and today we're going to be talking about 3 AI defense stocks that I see having a lot of potential in the upcoming years. And those stocks are BBAI, BigBearAI Technologies, PLTR, Palantir Technologies, and also a new one that we haven't talked about yet on this channel, but I see a lot of potential in this play, and that is CTM, Castellum. And the reason why I'm talking about all 3 of these companies today is because they all use AI technologies and they are also in the defense sector of the economy. And so all 3 of these companies have already secured contracts with the United States government. And over the coming years, we should see the AI sector and the defense sector only continue to grow, as President Donald Trump is very pro-AI and he is also very pro-military as well. And so with these companies already securing contracts, this puts them as a front runner for future contracts. And so we're going to do a technical and fundamental analysis of all of these stocks. But before I get started, I want to say, as always, that this is not financial advice, and I always recommend doing your own due diligence before making any financial decisions. So let's start with BigBearAI. And so when we look at Big Bear on the technical analysis, we could see that Big Bear recently had a massive uptick. And so Big Bear went from being valued around $1 in November, December, and skyrocketed all the way up to $10 in February. Big Bear AI was gaining a lot of value until the overall macroeconomic trends in the market ended up pushing this stock down. And then also we did get some bearish news around the Big Bear as well. But when we just look at the technical analysis point of view, we could see that we are oversold on the MACD and we are also low on the RSI. So just on a technical analysis point of view, this stock is looking more appetizing for any investors who want to join at a low spot with Big Bear AI. But with stocks, we can't just look at the technical analysis, but we have to look at the big story. And so why was the reason that Big Bear gained all this value in the first place? Well, if you've been following along, you know that Big Bear recently changed their CEO. So they got a new CEO, Kevin, who was a past member of the Department of Defense. And so him having those ties back to Trump got a lot of hype behind the stock. And then shortly after they announced their new CEO, they did get a big Department of Defense contract with the government as well. And so behind these catalysts, the stock did soar. But then overall, the market has just been retracting. Big Bear, just like all other stocks and plays, did take a hit from that. But then also the bearish news that came out about Big Bear, and either some sloppy or dishonest accounting from Big Bear AI. And because of this, there's actually a law firm that is building an investigation behind Big Bear AI, and they are encouraging investors to contact the firm. The reason why this lawsuit is building, again, is because of these accounting errors, and investors may have been thus far misled with Big Bear AI. And so not only is that a bearish catalyst and negative news behind Big Bear, but also a lot of the insiders have sold their bags with Big Bear as well. So Pan-GM Holdings, which is very close with Big Bear, had a lot of massive sells recently. And then we've also seen some other insiders sell their bag in Big Bear AI, which is not the most positive sign, as that means there might be some more bleeding behind this stock. But when we look at Big Bear on a more positive note, we could see that their revenues have actually been pretty high. And so this company every single quarter does produce around $40 million. So this is a positive for Big Bear. Overall, what we have been saying with Big Bear is what we need to see them continue to do is gain more revenue while also paying down their debt. And so Big Bear has historically had a lot of debt. This is also what is causing a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt in Big Bear, as a lot of their debt is also convertible notes. And so with the recent accounting error, some of those convertible notes may need to be looked at. And so the numbers that we're looking at here on screen may not be the most accurate, as again, with the filing coming up, there is some things that are subject to change. But just going off the numbers that we have, what is positive is we could see that Big Bear has had some big debt, but recently in the last quarter, they did pay down a lot of that debt. And so that is a positive with Big Bear. There is a lot of concerns about dilution, but if the debt does stay down for Big Bear, that just means that there is less pressure to dilute. And so with Big Bear, again, what we want to see them continue to do is gain more contracts while paying down that debt. What is positive about Big Bear is they do have this new CEO, Kevin, who again does have ties back to the government. He was a part of the Department of Defense during Trump's first term. And then again, shortly after he did become CEO, we did see them get that big contract, which which did send this stock up before the retraction that we did most recently see. And so with Big Bear AI, despite some of the negative news that we have seen behind Big Bear, I am still staying very bullish behind Big Bear. And I think that this is just a small bump in the road. Many investors are wanting Big Bear AI to become like this company here, and that is Palantir. And so we could see with Palantir, it's skyrocketed all the way up to $120+. That was right before we did see the big retraction in the market. And so just like all other stocks, plays, and cryptos, Palantir did take quite the hit. But what is positive is we could see with this trend line here that Big Bear is still in a bullish trend upwards. Also, when we look at the other indicators, we could see that when we were at the top around $120, that Big Bear was looking a bit overvalued. We have sold off some since then. Now we are looking a bit oversold, and we are on the middle for the RSI, indicating that this trend may continue for Palantir. But if you don't know, what makes so many investors so bullish on Palantir is because they have gained so many contracts with the government, and they are growing at a steady rate. And so a big reason why many investors look at Big Bear AI and think that they could become the next Palantir is that many years ago, Palantir was in a similar situation as Big Bear. They were gaining more contracts, but they did have some more debt. We could see that Palantir has significantly paid down that debt. And also what is a positive with Palantir above all, even better than their debt, is they just continue to gain more and more revenue. And so Palantir is constantly growing, and Palantir has done this from a lot of the big government contracts that they gained. Constant growth in revenue. There is one metric that has gotten a little funky and has some investors feeling bullish about this and other investors feeling very bearish about this, and that is their high price to earnings ratio. And so if you're not sure what a price to earnings ratio is, this is just their price to their earnings. And so with it being such a high number in the 400s, this is saying that their price has outpaced their earnings. And so many investors will take this high price to earnings ratio and say that Palantir is overvalued and it needs to come down. But bullish investors will say that the price just hasn't caught up to the earnings potential that is behind Palantir. And so with Palantir, we know that they're constantly gaining more government contracts, and a lot of the government contracts that they have already gained are showing up in their balance sheet. Like we could see with their earnings history, they are constantly beating the expectations set by Wall Street, and this earnings pattern is just growing more and more every single quarter. And that brings me to the last stock here on the list, which is CTM, Castellum. This is the first time that we have talked about this stock on this channel, but many investors are hoping that Big Bear AI eventually does something like Palantir. And well, if Big Bear is in the beginning stages of what Palantir was, Castellum is even younger than that. And so when we just look at the chart on Castellum, and then when we pull out a trend line, we could see that the trend has actually been decently positive. And so we could see the overall bullish trend building in CTM. And despite the negative market conditions that we have seen, this stock, being a small market cap stock, has actually held with some relative strength. And so right now, as I record this video, CTM is sitting at right around $1.02. So a pretty great buying opportunity, especially when we get into the intrinsic value behind CTM right now. But I personally believe that this is a steal for the price that this stock is currently. And when we just look at market cap on CTM, this is the lowest market cap out of the three stocks that we talked about. And so Big Bear is close to $1 billion market cap. Palantir is at $200 billion market cap, but CTM is just at $88 million on the market cap, meaning that this stock may have a lot of potential to run. When looking at market caps, with the market cap being lower, that is where sometimes you have more of a chance to get an even greater return on investment. Now, a smaller market cap does mean that that return on investment may be greater, but it could also mean that the volatility will be higher behind that certain stock as well. So just know that when investing and looking at a small market cap, there is a lot of potential, but also a lot of risk as well. But the reason why I am bullish behind this company is because of their potential and what they recently have done. And so recently in February, they did announce a big $103 million contract this year. And this is with the Naval Air Program. So this is worth $103 million, a great boost of revenue for CTM. And as you could see here on this website, there is no negatives, and the positive is this is their largest contract win in history. This is a 5.5-year contract providing a stable revenue stream. So this is very positive, as we're going to see these earnings, we're going to see these numbers show up in each and every single earnings report over the next 5 years. This is an expansion of their services in the critical defense technology sector, and this is an immediate revenue impact with next month's start date. And so they are already making the money behind this this contract. They have the contract signed. They are going to earn money over the next 5 years, and they are already earning money as we speak in this video right now. With CTM, what also makes this play very appetizing is they don't have a ton of debt. So they do have around $12 million of debt, but with their revenue constantly increasing, 45 million, 44 million for 2023, and then with this big contract that they just got, it looks like their balance sheet is only going to get better, and they're only going to continue to increase their revenue quarter after quarter. So with CTM, we just want to see them pay off the little bit of debt that they have left. But those are my three stocks that I see having a lot of potential in the AI and the defense sector coming over the next couple of years. I would love to hear what everyone else has to say about these plays. So please drop a comment down in the section below on what you think about Big Bear, what you think about Palantir, or what you think about CTM. So I'd love to hear all of your opinions. Also, please drop a like and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next video.